So my association was with Gustadji from the very old days. Then we joined the ashram in 1938. We were all there at Lower Mehrabad, and the present Dharmashala was the Mandi Hall at that time. There was no new Mandi Hall that you see now. That was constructed much later, 10 years later, 1948. But before then, this was the only structure where all the Mandali slept during the night. They had all beddings in a row all down the hall, and we all had our little beddings. In the morning, we rolled them up, and when Baba came, the hall was nice and good. And among all those worldly men and all, we were the only two kids around. And we used to loaf around and do nothing. Just see Baba when he came. He used to be up the hill at night. Erich used to accompany him up the hill each night. And early in the morning, he would go up and accompany Baba from the gate out there down to Lower Mehrabad and be with him. And then he would be with Baba all the while, just as an orderly or something. Yeah, he was new in the ashram, just like us. So when Baba would come, Baba, first thing was he went around the ashram. Then the first thing he did was to go to where the latrines were there. They were right in front, I think, where the new post office is. Somewhere there were a row of latrines. And they were the latrines used by the mad people. Baba had a mad ashram there. So early in the morning, he would roll up his sleeves, roll up his pajamas, and then go with broom in hand to clean the toilets. Yeah. And all the shit cans he would remove from the backside. I can't describe the toilets. They were just made of corrugated iron sheets. And all the mad people used to go and squat there, and the shit would fall down in open boxes below. And from the backside, if you open the shunt door, the pots could be removed out. So Baba would take those pots out and then empty out all the shit into a big shit can, and then wash the pots with the broom. All the while, Baba's uncle Gustadji, Rustam Masa, we used to call him Masaji, Baba's uncle. He would hold an umbrella on Baba's head, and Baba would be doing this first job, cleaning all the shit cans of the mad people. And then after finishing that work and washing himself up and all, he would go back and then attend to the other work with the mandali. He would sit in the hall. So early in the morning, Baba would inquire, how is everything? Fine. They would report. So what happened is, that my cousin Dadi, he got up and Baba said, yes, what's it? What's up? He says, Baba, these two oldies, they eat up all the cream in the morning. Which two oldies? Baba said. So he said, this Gustadji and Masaji, in the morning, they skim all the milk, the cream over the milk, and they both enjoy the cream, and they don't give us anything. So Baba said, you two people get up. What is this? You are depriving the, the children of cream, and you both have the cream yourselves. Haven't you got any shame? From tomorrow, see that they have given the cream. I felt very embarrassed about what Dadi was saying. So that was the first little incident I remember. Later on, the blue bus journey started, and Baba, with the women and a huge pile of luggage, started on the journeys. It was in December, last week of December. We had joined in August, mind you, and soon after they all left to go on the journeys. And I was sort of left behind because I wasn't too well. I had some skin eruptions and all that. So I was left behind at Mehrabad, and all the rest left. My mother, sisters, other women, and one or two or three mandali, and Baba left for the blue bus journeys. And then after I recovered from the skin eruptions and all that, I went to my uncle's. I was supposed to go to my uncle's house in Akbar Press. That was our ancestral place there. So I was to go there and then get entered into a school in Ahmednagar. So I had to do a lot of studies to catch up with Marathi, and I was not educated in Marathi till then. It was an English medium school. So I was carrying on, but that uncle of mine, he didn't believe in Baba. Although my aunt was very devoted and very close to Baba, he didn't like it. So he wrote a very nasty letter to my mother saying that your son has been foisted upon us and he's becoming a nuisance, and I don't like him here and all that. And although Baba had made all arrangements for my finances and everything, he wrote a nasty letter to my mother. So Baba, they were at that time in Jabalpur. In the journeys, Baba had gone to Jabalpur. So there, that letter came, and Mama read it, and she was feeling very sad about it. In the meantime, Baba came and said, "What's up?" Says, "No, Baba, nothing. Tell me, what's that in your hand?" And she then said, "Baba, it's a letter from uh, his uncle." So Baba said, "Read it out to me." So she read it out, and when he heard it, Baba asked her, "You feel sad about your little son there all alone, and you feel that I've neglected him or something?" He says, "No, Baba, I would sacrifice 1,000 sons like him. I don't care for him, but all the venom that he has spitted out in the letter against you, that is what hurts me immensely. I, I feel very sad. Baba says, I'm very happy with what you said. Now I'll get Merwan here right away. So then he sent a telegram to Pendu, who was left in charge of Mehrabad. So most of the baggage was left behind at Mehrabad when they all went on the journey. So that all that baggage was ready, packed, kept there at Mehrabad. So Baba sent word to bring all the luggage to Jabalpur and also to fetch me to Jabalpur. And Rustam Masaji, he has to accompany the baggage and one extra baggage, that is me, all the way to Jabalpur. So one day, Pendu comes and tells the family there that we are taking Merwan away. So that uncle was very pleased. He says, yes, good, you should have come earlier. You don't want him here. So he says, yeah, don't worry, we are taking him away. So he said, you get ready now. We have to board a train in a couple of hours. After getting ready, the Pendu whisked me off to the railway station. And there was Masaji with all the baggage on the platform. And I was one additional piece of baggage. And when the train arrived, the huge pile of luggage couldn't be taken in the carriage. So there was a special van in the train to put extra baggage there. You couldn't keep all that baggage in the carriages. That was the custom. And all the baggage was piled in that baggage van. And we got on to a compartment and the journey began. And Pendu told Masaji, that is his father, Pendu's father. So he said, Masa, look after the baggage, huh? Just keep an eye that nobody pilfers it or something. Although it was locked and they give a receipt, but he said, just keep an eye. Now, Masaji took that very seriously. So every time this train halted, Masaji would get down and go to the end of the train where the baggage van was and see that the van was there locked and nothing was missing, and come back and get into the carriage. As we were proceeding on, there was one little wayside station where the signal wasn't on. In those times, until the signal falls, the green signal, the train has to halt. So it was just a brief halt, but Masaji didn't know about it. So he got down again and walked to the end of the train to check the baggage. In the meantime, the green signal went up and the train started. So Masaji was right at the last baggage van was right at the rear. So he started to run, but he couldn't catch up and he missed the train. So now I was sitting near the window. It was about 10 o'clock in the night and watching if Masaji came back or not. But I could see that he couldn't catch the train. So there I was all alone in the wilderness with nobody to look. And I saw Masaji left behind, and the train kept moving. So I kept staring out the window, sheer blackness all around. Masaji was now desperate. So he ran to the station master and said, "This has happened, what shall I do?" So the station master said, "Don't worry, old man. I'll send a telegram right now to the next station where the train is going and make it halt there. Although it's an unscheduled stop for the train, it will stop. They will get down your baggage and the other extra baggage also. That was me on the station, and with the next following train you can go and join them." So the next halt, the next station that came, the train came to a halt. And it was just a wayside station, low platform, a single uh, gas lamp was lighted up on the pole, and there was nobody on in the station. It was a small station. So the the according to the instructions, all the baggage was removed from the van there at the back, and it was made into a huge pile. Then two policemen started inquiring at each carriage to see if there was any boy who could be traced. They kept coming, and then they came to my carriage, and they saw me sitting all by myself in the window, and they said, "Child, where is your guardian?" I said, "He got left behind." "Oh, come, get down. Let's take you where he is." So I was led away from the compartment, and they took me to where the pile of baggage was and said, "Child, sit on that pile of baggage and don't move from here. Your uncle will come in the next train and you'll be all right." So then, so saying, I was perched on the baggage, on the luggage there, and the train went by. After the train left, all still, nothing. On a big pile of luggage, I was sitting like this, waiting for the next train to arrive. And after a couple of hours, the train came. It was about midnight, and it stopped there. And Masaji got down from the train, ran to where I was sitting, and he came and he caught me and embraced me and said, "Oh, my child, I thought you would be lost, and what would I have said to Baba? How would I have answered him? So now let us go and get into the train." The, the luggage was also again packed in the luggage van there, and he got me into one compartment, and off we went. So that's the story of my going to Baba from Ahmednagar to Jabalpur. And then after a couple of days journey, because it was a slow train, a passenger train, so every station it would halt. But Masaji thought better of not taking risk this time. And eventually we reached Jabalpur. When we reached there, they we went and Baba was there. And then Masaji was telling Baba what had happened. So Baba had a good laugh, and Masaji was saying if his dad had found out what had happened, he would have throttled me. And Baba laughed and said, all is fine now. And thus this adventure came to a halt. And then I was placed in the with the women's ashram, in the women's ashram. That was the first male child in an all women's ashram there, Jabalpur. And from there, Baba went onwards. Baba and my family was left down at Jabalpur, and Baba proceeded further and went to Bangalore. And we had to again start all our things at Jabalpur. So I was entered in the school there, and my cousins also had come, Sam and Dadi. So we all went to school in Jabalpur and were there for long, many months until Baba sent word, leave all and come again to join me in Bangalore. So off we went to Bangalore, and when we reached Bangalore, Baba was there, and we got into the ashram at Bangalore in a place called the Links. It was a very nice place, a big palatial building. All the women were housed there. And then for some time we were there. And again I was entered in the school in Bangalore. And Baba sent Sam and Dadi back to Bombay to carry on their studies there. But I was kept behind. And then after a few months' stay, Baba decided to leave Bangalore. So we started on a journey back to Mehrabad. So during those journeys, all the women were in the blue bus, and there were several cars. So the Baba's car, by that time, Elizabeth had got her car from America. Baba and with the close ones, Mera, Mani, Khorshid and Naja and all, travelled in the car, and myself, Gustadji, my aunt, and the driver were in a small car called Opel, a German model. Yeah. So it was a four-seater car, and Gustadji would be sitting beside the driver. Myself would be at the back, and my aunt. So at that time, Gustadji, to pass the time, it was a long journey. So he taught me how to read his gestures. Then he would say this, and I would say, one, no, no, he said, and I thought, is A? Yeah, that is A. Then this, I said, B? No. Then later on, I said, I? He said, yes. So uh, this is I, A, I. Then I said, E, all the vowels he was saying. And this V, O, and U, that was his gestures. So I picked that up quite quickly. Then other ones he was making signs and all that. B and C for C was this, D. So that way I picked up all the signs. And then he said, that's fine now. Now I'll tell you stories which you hear. Then he would start telling stories, and quite interesting. And I would interpret those stories, and we had a fun time all along the journey. So that's how he taught me his language. And I could read his language quite nicely, quite a young little kid. So that was my recollection of Gustadji in that time. Another thing was that, you know, Baba in the past had made Gustadji manager of the lower ashram. So he had to look after everything, and he would be constantly talking and doing that. Until one day, Baba said, "From today, you have to observe silence." He was talking then, Gustadji. So very soon after Baba's silence, I think a couple of years or so, Baba put him on silence. And he says, "From now on, you are not to utter a word. Your constant jabbering is disturbing me." So from then on, he was silent. But and another thing, you are not to do any work. Just remain silent and do nothing. And you you think that is a simple job, but the job he was given was only because of Baba's grace that he could carry on. Keeping silent, he had not to read anything. He had not to talk with anyone. Just keep quiet and do no work all day long. People would be working. He had to just keep loafing around. So he was there, and later on, wherever Baba went, much tours, journeys, so the 3 or 4 people would be with him, and one of them was Gustadji invariably. Yeah. He had no work to do, but he was constant companion to the Lord. Yeah. Such was his duty. So anywhere Baba went, Gustadji was there. Even in the new life it happened. Gustadji, till the end, he was with Baba, till the last phase of new life. And he had a very genial personality. He had nice rosy cheeks, like a young, young little kid, nice and red, red-colored cheeks, yeah, quite plump, and a very innocent face, and an extremely lovable person. Those are my memories. And this storytelling of his was always there. So he would entertain Baba with his stories. Now he was keeping silent. So Eraj also he had taught Eraj his language. So he would gesture to Eraj and he would tell Baba what Gustadji was saying. And he would tell very funny stories, all very imaginative also. And Baba would enjoy them very much and would have a good laugh. And Gustadji would go on and on until Baba said, "Enough now, I have some other work to attend." So this was how it was. Yes. Later on, he, he had nothing to do. He would always pick up any newspaper or any paper or any waste thing and store them. So wherever his room was, it would be filled with old newspapers, all rubbish. And when it would be, his room would get packed, he would dispatch it to my sister, wherever he was. And she would have to sell it to the old paper dealers, and from the money send cheese and sweets to Gustadji. Favorite things of Gustadji. So one day Baba was in Satara, and it was the day when Baba was to make a sort of explanation to the message that he had given in 1954 about how Baba's end would come, his physical end. It was a very serious message. Three-quarters of the world will be destroyed, and all this will happen, and I'll be with the Mandali, but they'll all be at the end not near me, and suddenly enemies would come and stab me in the back, and that would be my end. That was the message he gave, and everybody all around the Baba world was upset with this message. So telegrams and letters followed. What is this Baba week? This is unacceptable to us, and all that. So at Satara, Baba called another meeting to explain what he had said. And at that time, we had a meeting there. And after the meeting, we had to return. So there was Adi who had come in his brand new Chevrolet, which is still there in Mehrabad, the Chevrolet model. So he, Adi tells Gustadji tells Adi, when you return, will you carry some old newspapers to Meru, my sister in Nagar? I say, okay, we'll put it in the baggage at the luggage van at the back. They had a big luggage compartment at the rear. So after the meeting, Gandhi went to where Gustadji was staying, and Gustadji started bringing out the piles. So his whole back dicky was filled with papers. Then more baggages started coming out, more packages. So he loaded all the backside seat, all the bottom floor space, right up to the roof. And Adi says, do you think my car is a truck? What's all this? I would have carried just a few packages, you said. No, 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 there's some more. And he was bringing more to put on the side of Adi's. And Adi lost his patience and he started to throw it out all over the roadside. So while we were returning, we saw all this going on and all the pile of rubbish on the road. In the meantime, Baba followed, for some work, and he saw what was going on. And he says, Adi, what's all this? He says, Baba, I told Gustadji I would take some of his old newspapers, but he's exceeding it all and he's loaded my car with like a truck. So he says, but did you give your word that he would carry these newspapers? So yes, I didn't know about order to be so. No, no, he says, if you have given the word, load them back. So he had to load all that back and much more, and all the piles right beside him. So only he could sit in the car and drive, not even able to see the sides. It was such fun to see what was happening.
Do you remember any of those imaginative stories Gustadji told everybody?
Yeah, one of them was that there was a fellow who was trying to pretend to be an advanced person. So he thought of a plan and he said that he got from the market bags of puffed rice. Puffed rice are very crisp little things made of rice, and if you put water, they swell up. So he made a pile of that and he spread a canvas over that, and on the pile he kept a statue. This is the story that he's telling Baba. So, and then the whole thing was covered with a canvas cloth, and he began to pretend as if he was in meditation and all that. And people used to see him there. And he had put a lot of water onto those bags. So slowly the whole thing started to rise. And one day something popped out, projected out. So the people were all there and they were wondering what's happening. And then he removed the carpet and out came a statue of, of the Lord. It's some old thing. So that the people were saying, "Oh, this is great," and he said, because of my meditation, this has happened." And the statue was there. They made a temple out of it, and he started to earn quite a lot of money. They would bring eatables, and he was having a swell time there. Any such imaginative stories he would tell. But the way he recounted it was very funny. I'm just giving you a brief sort of thing, a skeleton of it. The, the way he used to say all these things, it was a treat to watch. Yeah. And so on. One day, I was visiting Satara, where Baba was stationed, and what had happened was that we Baba had called us for some work. So I had gone there with Sam. Two of us had been called. So we were there and we reached there in the morning, and it was time for the mail to be read to Baba. So Iraj was reading one after the other, the mail. Then he, what had happened was that Baba wanted to make a little fun about Gustadji. So he had told Iraj to write the postcard uh, as if addressed to Iraj, and in that a postcard from Kaka Baria from Merazad. He should write like that. That Iraj, Kaka is writing to Iraj, and Iraj himself had written this card, and he says everything is fine at Merazad. He had to report every week or two what was going on. So he says everything is finely managed, but there's one, this Krishnaji. He was a fellow who was kept behind at Merazad, and he used to behave very funny here. Would keep silence and this and that and imitate Baba in the ashram itself. So all the Mandali were really fed up of him. And Gustadji literally hated him. So he said, this Krishnaji is becoming very boisterous these days. He just doesn't obey any of your orders. He just roams about, struts about, and does not all sorts of things, ordering me about. And you have told me to not to follow his orders, and he's getting too far. One day he asked me to open Gustadji's room, and so I had to open it, and then he began to see what was inside. And then further on he's going on like that in the cart. So Baba asked him Eras to write all that and post it in the post office, self-addressed. So along with the mail, that postcard came. And as usual, Baba, when the mail was being read, Eras said, Baba, the card has arrived. So Baba said, send somebody to call Gustadji. So Gustadji comes and Baba tells him, Gustadji, just read what is written in the, just hear what is written in the card, and it's really too bad. What can I do? So Iraj began to read the postcard, and when he came to where he opened, Gustadji's room opened. Gustadji was furious, and he began to gesture. How dare he did that? How could he get my room open? Who allowed him to do that? So Rachwood said, Gustadji, listen, this is what is written there. I'm telling you. Said, okay. So then he starts reading. But then what happened? In the postcard, it's written further that he opened Gustadji's trunk and he began to rummage in that Kakavaria's writing, as it were, and saying he took out the clothes that Gustadji wore when he went to the West. And Gustadji was taking great care of those clothes. He had wrapped them after returning from the West and never used them again, but would always see that they are safe and all that. So in the card it was written that he took out the suits that he had worn and wore them. What? Gustadji says, did he wear those clothes? Write to Kakabaria to burn those clothes. I'll never use them again. And how dare he did that? And Gustadji became more and more flushed and red with anger. And it came to a point where he would have burst out. And Baba was enjoying the fun, watching his reaction to it all. Then it seems that day Gustadji was not feeling too well. So Baba says, enough to Iraj, don't read more. And then he tells Iraj to tell him what had happened. So Iraj said, no, Gustadji, nothing of the sort has happened. This is what we had done as a little joke on you. So when he heard that, he was very relieved and began to laugh at what had happened and what went off. So Baba would play tricks on him also, his humor. Baba had tears in his eyes and he says, my long-time companion has left me. Yeah. He died in the room that I am staying in. First he was in that small room there where he had his room and he was very sick at that time. So Najamai and Rano were left there in charge of Gustadji. Baba had gone to Bombay for a visit. So that's when Gustadji was feeling very low and sick. And he was getting some hallucinations. So they shifted him to this room. And then one day he died, keeping silent till the end. Yeah. So then the telegram was sent to Baba in Bombay. And Baba made this gesture, yeah. And Gustadji, he had passed through 3 perfect masters. First he was with Sai Baba. Then when Sai Baba dropped his body, he was given charge of him to Upasani Maharaj. And for many years he was there. From Upasani Maharaj, Baba was realized and all that, and his ministry started. Baba took Gustadji away from Maharaj and was given charge of Babajan. So Baba told Gustadji that you have to look after her, and he would be there constantly, day and night, serving her until Babajan dropped her body. And then eventually he came to Baba's ashram. Yeah. So, and now, ever since then, he was companion to the Lord. Companion to the Lord. So that was Gustadji. Yes, so Gustadji saw many people pass by. Yeah, from old times, right till the end. He would not wear good clothes. So his old coat and pajamas, they would get worn out and torn. So he would stitch them. And he had more patches than the original material itself. And his pajamas had so many patches that you couldn't see the original trousers, and you would wash and hang them up to dry. And one day Baba brought the women mandali to show them, look what Gustadji's lehenga looks like, all full of patches. And he roamed about like that, like a must. Even his socks were like that. And he lived like a fakir. Yeah. What can I say? He just was companion to the Lord. Yeah. Onerous duty. Very simple and very childlike. Yeah. And all the time he would say, he wanted realization. So he would say this. Baba says, you will get it, you will get it. Yeah. That was what he always wanted. Baba's order. One day, Baba tells Gustadji that Babajan is sitting under the tree day and night, and even while sleeping, she sleeps on the rough ground. So I'm sending this mattress to you. So you take this mattress and with a little stool underneath. So go and give it to Babajan and say you should sit on this mattress and that I have sent it. So Gustadji brought it. And when Babajan saw it, he says, what is this? So he says, Baba sent this for you to sleep on and sit and rest. So you said, oh, my rose has sent this to me. Okay, keep it there. And then she wouldn't use it. She would sit next to it and tell Gustadji, you look after that. It is sent by my dear son, my rose. And so take care of it. So one night what happened was that a big shower came. So Babajan tells Gustadji, now take care of that mattress. Don't let it be on the ground. So he had to lift the whole stool and keep the mattress on his head. And the whole mattress got sodden with rain and so heavy that Gustadji began to sink down. And Babajan said, take care of that mattress. Don't let it touch the ground. And whole night Gustadji was holding that on his head and keeping watch over it. So the next day he goes and tells Baba, this is the story of the mattress. Baba had a good laugh and then said, all right, let it be here now. Bring it back. Yeah.
He stayed with her for a long time?
Huh?
He stayed with her for a long time?
Ah, until Babajan dropped her body. Yes. Babajan died, I think, in 30 or something. Yeah, 31, yeah. When Baba had gone to the West. And Baba had left a decent sum of money with Dr. Ghani. So when Babajan passes away, with this money, you build a nice shrine there and see that Babajan's shrine is nicely done and all that. So when she passed away, almost the whole entire city of Pune had congregated there. They took out a big procession, then brought her body back to where she used to always sit under that big neem tree. So then they dug a hole there and buried her. So then Dr. Ghani, he, as per Baba's instruction, built that shrine. A beautiful shrine. Yeah. So for long many years that shrine was there. And the tree was there growing. The whole shrine was built around the tree with a hole on the roof so that the tree was growing above it and it shaded the shrine. Then later on, the shrine came in charge of these fanatic Muslims. So they cut down the tree one night because otherwise people would have been upset. So they quietly cut it down and then they painted it with silver. An ugly sight to watch now. And the whole shrine that was there, that structure and all, an ugly concrete thing there. Yeah. So it's now quite different from what we used to see. Almost 50 years, that shrine was there. The 1990s or something they did it, broke it down.